Margaret in Windsor, and I wanted to center on this. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and I'm going to span this because there's a point I want to get to. It's Anastasia Romanoff. I did a medical malpractice book, 76 till April Fool Day of 80, when they put antifreeze in me and I should have died. Instead, I was illegally taken across the state line by this woman, line I didn't see. That's the family where they put me in 41 when they kidnapped me from Buckingham Palace. Larry Flint, during the political campaign, when I ran to replace Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, that I'd written about in the medical malpractice book just prior to getting the antifreeze put in me. He wrote that they made me a pauper candidate. They also took my name and everything. But he was shot, and the person was programmed to shoot him. Now, because I can't get this all on the tape, this is the family where they brought me and dropped me off in 41. It was a pigsty. This is me. The twins, this woman had twins, Peggy and Carl. I'm just showing Carl's name on here, birth certificate. They even changed everything, the dates of birth and everything. But anyway, that's Carl. Both twins were dead, killed by their mother, and this family covered it up. This is a photo of me growing up. And here. Now, what I wanted to get to is I'm getting to Anastasia and the money and all that. There was Anastasia here in Charlottesville, next door to me. I ended up in 86, living on the Appalachian Trail, anywhere I could put a tent up to keep me off the side of the road. And it's odd, when Flint furnished me a car during that campaign. I never saw him again. I turned it in after the lease was up. But while I was driving the car in was it May of 84 it would have been? Yeah. I was driving through Charlottesville, and never thinking or knowing I'd come back to Roanoke to try to live and stay all this time. I was driving through there, and they announced, I think it was May the 4th, it was on a Sunday. They've changed the dates, by the way, if you try to Google Wikipedia or anything on Anastasia Anderson. She's Romanoff, the Tsar Nicholas' daughter. But anyway, I was driving the car through this area, through Charlottesville, that day when they said she had died. Well, she was murdered. And at first they said that, and her husband that she married here was Professor Monahan at the University of Virginia. He tried to get her out. They locked her up at Blue Ridge. They have used the mental health system, which is what I'm trying to get across to people, because mind control and programming enter into all this, and that is not an illness. It's mind control is an agency or agencies that control a person's behavior, modify it. MK Ultra was brought before Congress in '53 for it. Got a slap on the wrist and turned out, and you can go from there to all the shootings and mass shootings. And here's the Boston bomber, who's Russian. Here, this man is a psychiatrist that's on death row for the Fort Hood shootings. He finished school at Virginia Tech next door to me, where the 33 mass shootings happened there in April of 16. And this is James Holmes of the Aurora, Colorado, so I could go on and on. This is Timothy McVeigh, who was put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing. And he tried to tell them that the Army put an implant, a chip up his buttocks. This is by Tex Mars, this book. But this is what I was telling. Now that I hope it makes sense. I wanted to get it on here. It's a little hard to give background. Oh, yeah. This is the German diplomat's son, Jens Zorings, who I had met briefly just before this campaign. It was during the campaign. I was sent out to Lovett or Lovell School. There's a private school in Atlanta, Marietta. And I was sent out there, and I was supposed to meet him and a guy named Chad Yens. And anyway, long story short, later, when I'm in Grottoes and I had the Larry Flint car, these murders happened, and they were tried in Bedford, which is next door to where I've lived here in Roanoke, Troutville, on the Appalachian Trail for years, since '86. So I ended up near Anastasia, and they say it wasn't Anna. Yeah, it was. And they've lied about the poor lady from here. I can't believe some of the lies they've told. Anyway, I want to say this. My father, Edward VIII, was forced out. It was orchestrated by the Jews and the Kennedys, Klan. And the whole thing was to take down my father. I'm going to show you both this because this is another photo of my father. He never married Wallace Simpson, a double did. And history would tell you that my father married, and a bunch of lies. You should read the cold-blooded lies, the 99-year seal that was put on a beautiful man, my father. And my father was married to George O'Keefe's sister, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, my mom, a school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin. Now then, this is the sorry SOB that sold out his family, and if some of the Windsor families are in on, and they are, the Duke of Kent is a Freemason, Illuminati. She is. He is. This whole family, look at him. George sold out his own brother. And all these lies, he helped the Jews, the Illuminatis, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, kidnapped me, his own niece, and I'm Victoria II, and I am the legal heir to the British Crown. And there was an addendum to the forced abdication, and yes, it's legal, but it's got a seal on it, and you have to have the power to overcome Elizabeth and Charles and his whole brood, who partnered with the very people that killed Tsar Nicholas's family. I'm up this time of the morning because I started thinking about Anastasia, because I was told it involves Prince Michael of Romania. Everything was taken down, and the New World Order has control of the royal families anymore. But this woman did it by choice, and her father. And the thing that got me, I know, and I've heard it since, a gentleman that knew, and he did know a lot, he was placed by me when I was eating here some years ago, and he told me a lot about genealogy, and his name was Nick. He knew about Prince Michael. He knew all of it about me and everything, and my father, and it being covered up and everything. Here's what I'm getting to. Woodrow Wilson was a part of killing, orchestrating the death of Tsar Nicholas and his family. And Anastasia ended up here, and was her. She was cremated here in Charlottesville. Then I end up here. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, Victoria II. She would be the same relation to me she is to Elizabeth, cousins. And Tsar Nicholas had trusted, there was a lot of his money when they were trying to take him down. And the United States, the Jews helped orchestrate this, the Freemasons. So I know that it was placed somewhere in the Bank of England or something. And my grandfather, I hope, would not sell out his own brother. I'm not suggesting this. I know this sorry sot did. My uncle, he's illegal, and so is this brood, which, anyway, my point, if I'm sounding garbled here, trying to get it all on, I don't think my grandfather was corrupt or anything. I think he did all he could to try and save Tsar Nicholas. And I wonder about his death in '36, and then I know about the takedown of my father. And all the money that was supposed to go to Anastasia, well, they killed her because she was a Romanov. But there's a thing in history, a law, and I've heard this sorry Charles, who would be heir, he's illegal, but after Elizabeth, where it really would fall to me. I'm the legal heir, and there's something in history that connects